Today on Let There Fly, we installed the Dalton DBO 650 on my Can Am Outlander 650 XMR. Alright guys, so first things first is we gotta get the belt housing off here. Unfortunately, it looks like you have to take off the footwell for this side over here, so never done that before in this quad, so we're gonna find out how that comes apart. I already had the side off because I was cleaning the quad, and you're not right to clean. Look at this. Yeah, there's no cleaning these things 100%. It sucks. But yeah, so we get the see what tools we need for doing this here, and then we're gonna take this guy off, and then so we can get into the clutch housing here. Alright guys, so it looks like, oh, it's not 10mm, or is that oh, that was rocking away. That doesn't help. Yeah, so there are a bunch of 10mm bolts here. Is there nuts on the bottom? Doesn't feel like it. Alright. I have to actually do this to the other side because I hurt my floorboard the other day. Kind of got pushed up by a stick, so gotta get that bent back into shape. I'm eventually thinking about getting the Can Am self-clearing floorboards for this thing, because the mud just packs in this thing, and it is not, it just, when I'm trying to clean the quad, it just shoots mud everywhere after I just cleaned everything else out, and I usually try to clean it first, but it doesn't make much of a difference. Either way, it freaking gets mud everywhere. I don't know if I have to take this guy off at the same time. I think I can leave that on. I think it's all one piece, but we shall find out here. Next we have a bunch of Torx bits in here. I'm going to try to see if I can get in here with my screwdriver. And you guys are a little loose feeling. What size is that? T25? Yeah, so it's T30. It's going to be at least the guy on the outside here. I'm going to try to get it with my T25, but let's see if I strip it out or not. Alright guys, so I got the fender well off. Basically, to do so, you have to take out all those screws, and you just step on the fender or footwell and pull up on each fender bearing, whatever you call it, and then it actually pops right out. So there was a hidden 10mm bolt back here, so make sure you guys get that before you do anything. But got my 8mm here on a little socket, and remove the housing now. Dang, I need to get the power washer out while I have this apart. Still got a bunch of mud in there. It is a mud quad. Even after washing it, there's like no way to keep these damn things clean. If anybody wants to be hired to wash this after every time I go mud riding, let me know in the comments below, because it takes me like 3.5 hours just to get it this clean. Basically just going around cracking these because I'll go through and get them finger here. Alright guys, so I got the cover off, and basically am now using a 3/4 inch socket here to take this guy off. Basically just take this guy out. You gotta make sure that the two pieces do not come apart, because you want to line everything back up. We're going to be using a marker in a little bit here. I like this. Oh yeah, she had some pressure behind her. Alright, so bolt comes out. Make sure you don't lose any of that. And then we want to keep this together. And then there's a spring. We're gonna be changing that guy. Alright, so here's the stock spring. And then we have the one from Dalton. So that's gonna be a green color spring. And they look like they're roughly the same height. This one's a little bit smaller. But fits in just like that. I can tell you just by feel that they kind of feel the same, roughly. But what do I know? So, alright, so now we're gonna catch you guys on the bench because we're gonna be installing some rivets on the secondary or the primary clutch. Alright guys, so here's the primary clutch. This should just pull straight out. Oops, actually before I do that, forgot we gotta take a marker here. Got one handily right there. I'm just gonna mark so we know which way it came off. Now straight off. And there's our weights. So here's our weights we're gonna be changing out. We're gonna be changing out every other one. So basically like that. And then gotta see what Dalton wants us to do as far as installing these rivets. Because I have 28-inch larger tires, or 28-inch tires or larger. So they recommend that you basically use that so we get the corrections out here. Alright, so actually what they're saying is for 27-inch and up, I don't know if you guys can see that, they're saying to leave the flyweights empty with no rivets installed. So that's what we're going to do. It does say for extreme mud conditions they want you to install the yellow and black spring for the secondary, but they said for the what do you call it, the XMRs, you don't need to do that unless you're running like 30s or so. Yes, I guess setup number 2 is that we're going to go for. Setup number 3 says it's for 25 to 26-inch tires with a little bit higher of elevation here. So we're going to leave them empty and see how it drives, and then, I mean, if anything, we can just change them out and see how they go. Alright guys, so basically looks like a 5/16, which they don't really give you much room for, and a T25, and we're going to move every other clutch weight here. Alright, so looks like this guy just slides right out. I'm only going to slide out part way, enough to slide that out. Alright, it looks like there's little washers in here. I'm guessing we got to reuse those. It's going to be fun to slide in there. Oh boy. Yeah, or not. Let's see. Yeah, they look like they go in there. Little tiny shims. Basically, kind of have to drop it in as the bolt's coming through. Just like that. Right now, one thing I noticed is this still has some slop in it. Don't know if that's okay or not. Let me see if, because I don't like that too much. You see how these are kind of stiff still? This guy's kind of just rocking and rolling. I do have it loose still, so I mean, we can see if it makes a difference. Shouldn't really matter though, but I'll just confirm that with the install instructions to see if it's correct. Alright guys, according to the instructions, that's how it goes. So it's got a little play in it, but I'll have to message Dalton and just double check and make sure that's correct. And I'm dropping my socket here. Now we're going to go ahead and change out the other two, and then we're going to reinstall it back on the quad and see what she feels like, because it should be a totally different world, hopefully. I've installed clutch kits before on other quads. My Arctic 500 I used to ride on the channel. That's now my girlfriend's. That has a Dalton kit in it as well. That's part of why I went with Dalton, because I was very impressed with it on that quad. Because that quad was a slug when I got it. I mean, my new XMR here is not a slug by any means, but it's always nice being able to put all the power to the ground rather than elsewhere. Just going through drivetrain stuff, so just gotta make sure the washers are on both sides. That's all it says in the instructions. So you got one, and then two here. I wonder if I can buy more of these from Can Am, those little washers, and just snugging it up a little bit, because I don't know if that's gonna rattle. We'll find out, I guess, when we put it on the quad. Hopefully not, because that would kind of suck. I don't think so, because the other videos I saw didn't hear any chirping or anything like that. What I always do too, and even though they don't recommend it, is I fire it up without the cover on and just take it for a quick spin around the yard, just to make sure that basically nothing's gonna come loose or anything like that, and make sure it drives. And then I put the footwell back on and let her eat. Yeah, so we're trying it without the rivets first, because that's what it supposedly recommends. So, and then I heard if it's too aggressive, too much down low, and not enough top end, then we're gonna add the rivets. I'm not sure which ones yet. I gotta call up Dalton and just see what they want me to run for my application. But I think this is gonna be a major improvement from the get-go here. So like I said, we'll see what happens on the trail and see how it performs in the mud and everything. And we're almost there. This is a relatively easy thing to do if you're slightly mechanical and want some more performance out of your quad. I highly recommend you do a clutch kit, because why not get extra power out of your machine without even having to do any kind of powerful modifications, just making it actually put power to the ground. It's free power, kind of, sort of, not really, because you gotta buy the kit, but got them snug. Just want to see how these snug these ones are, because they're as snug as the stock ones. Alright, and then this we're going to line right back up with this. Just like so. And back in the quad it goes. Alright guys, so gonna put the modified timer on here. Get that started. Gotta give her a little push and find the threads. Just like that right there. And then I just gotta grab the torque wrench real quick. Alright, got our torque wrench here. They want 89 foot-pounds of torque, so I'm gonna set this guy to 89. Bear with me for a second here. I don't have those fancy schmancy ones that freaking are basically all digitally adjusted. So there's 89. Tighten her down, throw our socket on, and tighten it up. Now, some of you might cringe at what I'm about to do, but this is how I got it off. Screwdriver. Don't judge me. Gotta do what you gotta do. I just do it that socket. Yeah. Alright guys, so just got the clutch kit all installed. I'm just gonna take it for a spin around the yard, make sure she goes good and everything, and as soon as she does, we'll throw the cover back on and take her for a spin. Alright guys, so I just got back from a little test drive on this thing, and all I can say is holy crap. You guys will see the difference in a minute here when I get everything put back together. Nice, I scratched up my plastics. Oh well. You guys are going to see a difference here in a few minutes after I get everything back together. I just got to finish putting the bolts in, get my other side panel, and put all the little top pins back in, and then we'll get you a video. Alright guys, so this is with the stock clutch setup. Basically you're just going to see where the engagement point is. I'm going to give it a couple of revs just to kind of see where it engages at. I got the RPM gauge set. Try to see if I can get to focus on it. There's like a weird glare right there. But we'll see where it engages at, and then we'll see how fast it accelerates. I only got my driveway here, so I can only go so fast, but we'll see what happens here, and then do a before and after comparison with the clutch kit here and see how it makes out. so let's see, stock engagement. I'm on flat ground. Looks like it's biting right around like 1800. Yeah, right around 1800 is where it bites. And like I said, I'm going to accelerate a little bit here in my driveway. Got only about 1/8 of a mile with that, so I'm just going to pull on for it. Let's see what happens. Alright guys, so huge difference. This thing accelerates like a freaking animal now. I'm really happy with the clutch kit. I don't think it needs any adjusting just yet. We'll have to see how it does in the mud now. Gonna have to test that later on. But yeah, this thing feels really good now. I don't know why Can Am doesn't just clutch these things from the get-go, because it's a totally different machine now. The engagement's even a lot smoother now with like just taking off in the driveway and stuff like that, like just slow and whatnot. It's a lot smoother and a lot more controllable and everything. It's not as lurchy and whatnot. So hopefully everything works really good with it. But that's gonna be a wrap for today's video, guys. And hope you guys enjoyed. And if you guys have a 2020 Can Am XMR like me, 650, definitely get yourself a Dalton clutch kit. I know they sell other clutch kits out there, but I have had a couple Daltons now and they have not failed me yet. So these things seem to work really good. I think they're made in Canada, which is cool because Can Am's made in Canada. So but all right guys, we'll have to catch you next time. Peace out.